My name is Edward with Because Bitcoin. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what is the next big crypto to invest in 2023. If you don't know, this past week, the whole Because Bitcoin team took a trip down to Miami. We went to go visit the Bitcoin convention of 2023, and like a pack of wolves, an entourage, if you will, we stormed the convention. There was lots to look at, lots of sights to see, lots of booths to visit, and lots of hands to shake. But amidst the chaos, we found a little industry secrets of what would be the next big thing. So of course we were dying to know. And the name that would be repeated throughout the convention was a little token by the name of Arbitrum. So what is Arbitrum? Well, it's not exactly an Ethereum killer, like a few may suggest. While many have tried, you have come this close to beating out Ethereum, we all know Ethereum is king in the end in terms of DeFi. But Arbitrum is actually taking a different road. The road of, if you can't beat them, join them. Arbitrum is built on top of ETH's layer 2 network. So let's dive into my computer here and let's talk about Arbitrum. Arbitrum is also known as ARB, which is the native governance tokens for the Arbitrum network. Arbitrum is built on top of the Ethereum's layer 2 network, which is a scaling solution to utilize optimistic rollups, which was launched on March 23rd of 2023. As of now, Arbitrum is currently sitting at a price of only about $1.21 as of today's date, which is May 28th of 2023, with a market cap of only $1.5 billion. In comparison to other projects such as Polygon at its peak hit around $20 billion. Currently at its lows, Polygon is still sitting at an $8.6 billion evaluation. And there's a lot of comparisons to make between Polygon and Arbitrum, which we'll discuss later in this video. So how does ARB function, which is the token inside the Arbitrum ecosystem? Well, ARB holders are granted voting rights, which allows them to participate in governance decisions about protocol upgrades, fund allocation, feature changes, and even election of security council for the Arbitrum ecosystem. Besides governance, ARB also plays a crucial role in paying for transaction fees on the Arbitrum network, which is probably the most exciting part of this entire thing, is that these transaction fees are much lower and faster than that of Ethereum's layer 2 mainnet. Arbitrum's main appeal lies in its scalability solutions that retains security and decentralization aspects of Ethereum. This has attracted a lot of DeFi projects as of recent that were struggling with Ethereum's high gas fees and slow transaction speeds. One of the big players already on Arbitrum is actually UniSwap, which is arguably one of the largest decentralized exchange, which recently migrated into Arbitrum's network, which has allowed users to trade ERC20 tokens at a fraction of the cost compared to that of Ethereum's mainnet. Other projects that have moved over and that are currently being built on Arbitrum include SushiSwap, arguably the second largest decentralized exchange, Aave, of course, Chainlink, and pretty much, and among others, as you guys can see right here. This wide variety of projects, from decentralized exchanges to lending platforms to Oracle, shows that there's huge appeal for me for Arbitrum in terms of DeFi. So now we're going to shine a spotlight on Polygon, also known as Matic. Matic, Polygon, whatever you want to call it, shares a lot of similarities to that of Arbitrum. So Polygon also shares the layer 2 scaling solution, just like Arbitrum. But one of the key challenges recently that Polygon is facing is pretty much adoption. While it has garnered lots of attention and was arguably one of the highest runner-ups of the last bull run, there's not as many DeFi projects that have migrated over to it as we've seen recently in recent times with Arbitrum. And while Polygon does offer lower transactions and faster speeds to that of Ethereum's layer 2 mainnet, Arbitrum right now is undercutting it by providing it at a much lower fee and lower price. When we look at the projects on Polygon, the only really notable one that at least I can recognize is IDEX, which at one point was one of the largest decentralized exchanges. I would argue top 10, but really anything other than that, I mean, are really just obscure projects that may or may not have caught the attention of a few individuals. Whereas when we look at something like Arbitrum, Arbitrum has quickly garnered a lot of attention from major projects like UniSwap and Aave. So to me, the adoption and its lower market cap in comparison to that of Polygon's, to me just signifies as Arbitrum's opportunity to really undercut the market while right now still coming in at about $1 a token. And to me, seeing like huge returns on investments, whereas Polygon right now is sitting at an $8.6 billion evaluation. So now we're going to jump to the technical analysis of Arbitrum, how it fares, and in my opinion, why right now it's actually may or may not be a good time to buy it. So let's take a look at that. So before we can talk about ARB, Arbitrum's price action in terms of technical analysis, I first want to cover Bitcoin. I think it's very important to cover Bitcoin because it leads the market. If Bitcoin suffers, the rest of the market suffers, long story short. And so in my personal opinions, I'm just going to come out and say, I think that Bitcoin has bottomed out. And the reason I say that is because when we have this support structure right here, this green bar that paints a picture for Bitcoin's lows, when we trace it all the way back to 2019, you can see this area right here was a huge area of confluence. On June 9th of 2019, this area enacted as a strong resistance, as well as when we go back to 2017, which I was actually there. If you actually look at my personal channel, I was around during this time period. This area right here enacted as a strong resistance again. And you can see that we even printed what's known as a lower high with a bearish divergence. Now, when we fast forward to back in December of 2022, recently, you can see that on the RSI, Bitcoin was printing what's known as a bullish divergence. While the price was printing lower lows, the RSI was printing higher lows. Usually that signifies what's known as a reversal. And so with us having, again, touched down on these strong areas of confluence and printing what's known as a bullish divergence, to me, it lets me know that this area right here at that 16,000 mark is a strong area of demand. And so historically, when we look at Bitcoin on a macro scale, it never goes below its previous highs, at least not in the past. That is not to say that things can't change, but historically, we have only ever made higher highs, even when we retrace. And so to me, I can confidently say that I think we have touched down at its bottom here. That is not to say that we can't print lower highs, meaning that eventually down the line, maybe in a year and a half, that's not to say that we can't come back down to that $17,000, $20,000 mark or so. I'm making a prediction there. But overall, I don't think that we're ever going to go below that. And at the same time, I want to say that Bitcoin right now is still closer to its bottom than it is to its highs, meaning that we are still 50 to 60% down from its bottom. Whereas when we look at its retracement down, it's only about a 40% drawdown, 30 to 40%, right? Depending on where we would retrace to. Whereas if you were to buy Bitcoin up here, right, you're looking at a 60% retracement. So in my personal opinion, buying crypto right now is still a good opportunity because you're setting yourself up for less risk than you were back in 2021. With that said, let's jump over to ARB. I already have a little bit of some technical analysis pulled up. So ARB, from a technical standpoint, is still what's known as in the ranging stages, meaning we're not really necessarily seeing huge breakouts in price action. You can see back when it was released on Coinbase, actually this is KuCoin, it was still touching down in that $1.20 area. And we did have a brief breakout right here where it did end up jumping up about a 50% move, give or take. And then from there, we saw a huge rejection and then it ended up pushing back down. And so currently we're still kind of ranging in that area, right? Like we haven't necessarily seen huge price actions. That's cool. That's very significant. But to me, from a technical analysis standpoint, it doesn't matter. When we actually look at it from more of a market cap standpoint, given the fundamentals that we reviewed in this video earlier and seeing its potential and the adoption that it's already garnering, in my personal opinion, this has the potential to reach a market cap of over $20 billion. When we look at Polygon, market cap at its peak, I believe around $20 billion, right? You can see right here, this was 2021. It reached a market cap of $17.7 billion. When calculated, and let's assume that Arbitrum were to hit Polygon's all-time high, that puts Arbitrum at a $14 price range, which to me is more than doable considering the fundamentals behind that. So realistically, outside of the technicals that we see here, just looking at it from a calculated standpoint on its market cap, Arbitrum has the potentials to more than 10x and make you a huge return on investment. And so during the course between now and the next year, depending on how long it takes for us to reach the next bull run, I will be personally accumulating Arbitrum. I think that this from a long-term perspective has a lot of potentials. So even though Arbitrum, let's say hypothetically, it were to start rejecting this area and start making lower lows, it could literally half its price down to, let's say 50, 70 cents down here. And I would start to accumulate even more so, just because I think that the potential that this has in terms of its upside could be very great. So with that said, guys, this is not financial advice. This is my personal opinions on the market and what I personally believe. But just based on the information that I was given and the fundamentals behind this project, I've been in this market now for the past 6 years. And time again, when I see projects like these, I know that they have huge potentials. And while they may or may not break out right now, over time, I do believe based on my previous experience, they do tend to perform very well. So let me know what you guys think. Are you looking to invest into Arbitrum? Personally, I do think that it is going to be the next big thing. The fundamentals are solid. The technicals look great. In fact, I've already put some of my money into it. Not financial advice, but I'm looking to hear your thoughts. Comment down in the description below. And as always, be sure to go check out becausebitcoin.com. It is the #1 source for all cryptocurrency related news, as well as go check out our premium newsletters over at becausebitcoin.com/premium. If you guys enjoyed this video, again, be sure to hit that like and please subscribe. That helps us out a ton. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.